Hi, my name is Dr. Jacobs here at the University of Central Missouri, and this is a Vigil for suicide survivors. In September, we observe Suicide Prevention Month to dedicate resources and awareness to help prevent suicides. And a lot of people think, why would you do that? That's a choice that people are making. What we know from research is that suicide is preventable, but we don't really look at it in the ways that we should sometimes. And so if anyone has ever lost someone, which is what this event is about, you know that it completely wrecks your life. There's like a lot of ways, it's never good to lose somebody, but suicide has a different kind of pain with it that you don't see with other types of death. And so I think the first time that I lost someone to suicide, I was a first year in college, and I lost a friend who I ate lunch with every single day my senior year of high school. And when that happened, it was just a different kind of pain because you feel so many different emotions at one time. You can feel angry, you can feel guilty is a really common response. You can be really, really sad. And it's okay to feel all these different emotions at the same time. And I think that's something that they don't prepare you for when you lose someone that way for the first time, that you can be really, really angry at someone for dying and taking themselves away from you. And so because I lost her that way, that kind of just set me on a path to want to be able to do things so that I could help other people so they wouldn't have to feel that pain again. And I wish that was the only time that I had lost somebody to suicide. But I also lost another friend about 5 years ago who used to attend here at UCM. And so I'm a faculty member here, but sometimes I also take classes. And so they were the only other non-traditional student in the class. It was a music class. We sat together in class. Our bands played shows together. And we were working on a song together, you know. And when I found out that he passed, and he passed that way, like it broke my heart, so much so that I couldn't write music for like 8 months. And then when I started writing music again, I wrote a song called Can't Bring You Back, where I try to look at those different pieces of emotion that you feel at one time. The choruses, the guilt that I feel inside, the anger that I try to hide, these tears that I cry, can't bring you back. And it's true because it's a choice. From the research side, because everything that I do is I want to be able to help people be able to access mental health care, destigmatize mental illness. And the ways that I do that is through running a suicide prevention research lab here at the University of Central Missouri. So if you're a student here and you want to get involved, look me up. We meet every week and we try to do different projects to help with this. And then even in my own music, I use music as a vehicle to help get people resources that they need and to talk about this. For example, one really easy resource for people to have is the Suicide Lifeline number, which is now 988. It used to be this long, drawn-out number, but we worked really, really hard to get into a 3-digit number so that people would remember it. So if you don't need 988, there's someone that you know or that will need it, or you might need it one day and not know, because it is not uncommon for people to have suicidal thoughts. It's not rare. It doesn't mean that people are going to make a suicide attempt, but we don't like to talk about those things because they're stigmatized and they make us really uncomfortable because sometimes we don't like to talk about emotion. We don't like to talk about mental illness because we think it's weak. But really talking about mental illness and our own struggles and accessing treatment and things like that is actually strength. Which one's more scary? To try to suck it up, right, and keep living with an illness that could potentially kill you, right? Or do you fight? Do you talk about it? Do you let other people see your journey so that they feel brave enough that they can get treatment too? From the research side, it's so hard because, you know, you have the personal connection to it, which is really hard. And in this kind of research, people approach me all the time like, I lost this person to suicide, my kid's suicidal, and it's really hard because people need these resources, but because we don't talk about it, people are dying, and they're dying silently. And so for it, what we know from research that it's connected often to mental illness, drug use disorder, PTSD, being sexually assaulted, and all these different things like depression and anxiety. And we don't talk about those things. We want to glamorize suicide when it's not glamorous. It is really, really painful to lose someone that way. And I don't wish it on anyone. But the good news is that there are things that we can do. There are evidence-based treatments that people can seek. But what we have to do as a society is get better at getting treatment available. Wait lists are so long for people. People don't know how to access treatment, and treatment that's good and that's going to do something for them. So there's a lot of things that we can do. but I hope that we all gather together so that we can try to fight stigma of talking about mental illness. And we can do that in so many different ways. One would be not calling people crazy, right? Or not like being in a fight with somebody and saying that you need to get help, right? Because if you're using it as a weapon, you're stigmatizing mental illness and treatment seeking. And so these are just little things that we can do. If we are talking about someone who's died by suicide, we say that rather than the way that people usually refer to it when someone dies by suicide, because that also helps reduce stigma associated to mental illness, suicidal thoughts, and seeking treatment. And if we each do these little things, even just putting 988 in our cell phones, so that if we know someone needs help and we can give it to them, or even if you're a student here at UCM, referring someone to the counseling center, huge. There's a crisis line here for UCM students as well. But if we're getting better at providing resources to people, doing little things, we can make really big changes. And that's what I have for you today. And I am sorry if you have lost someone too. But if you have lost someone, please use that. And instead of trying to glamorize the things that you've gone through, try to give a living testament through doing things that will help make it so that other people do not have to go through that kind of pain. Thank you.